What's up, and welcome to Through the Dust. This is episode 1, and we're going to be starting today with. I get asked all the time, being a pastor, what's my favorite Bible verse? And I don't really have a specific one verse. It really kind of depends on the mood and the time or whatever. But one verse that I do find myself coming back to a lot, and a verse that continually convicts me in a very motivational way, is going to be Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 4, where he says, the person who watches the clouds will never reap a harvest. And this verse really is convicting to me because it speaks directly to that natural inclination that I have, and I'm sure a lot of people do, to make excuses, to avoid things that they should be doing, to procrastinate, to put it off because, well, it's going to rain, and so I can't go plant today. And after so long, you start to kind of realize that life is never just going to hand you a permission slip to go do what God is calling you to do. It's never going to do that. There's always going to be something that is buying for your time. There's always going to be some busy work, something you need to go do. Um, I don't know if there's rarely ever a time that I leave on my bike to go ride, that on my way there, that I don't feel a little bit guilty. That in my mind, it's playing. I should be cutting the grass, or I need to be doing this, or I need to be going over here and taking care of this. And there's always something that I feel in my body like that. I should be doing this instead. But when I come back from a ride, though, it's almost like mentally, I just feel like, man, I needed that more than I realized. I needed to get away from the normal routine, the busyness of every day that we all have. I needed to break away from that more than I realized. And it did something for me that I didn't really even know I needed. It gave me an opportunity to rest, reset, just get out of the house and just see something, do something different, just to have some fun on the bike. It just does more than you realize. This channel is something that I felt God called me to a while back. And I've had a multitude of excuses, a multitude of reasons, and busy was one of them. Lord, let me get a few things in line. Let me get a few things done. Let me get a little more equipment. Let me get this, and then I'm going to start it. And it wasn't that I didn't want to start it. It was just simple procrastination, simple putting off. And then finally, a few weeks ago, God was like, look, reminded me of Ecclesiastes 11. There's never going to be a perfect time. You're going to get through this season, and there's going to be something else. This is just something you got to go do. And so I want to encourage you that whatever that thing is, if there is something right now that God's calling you to, don't keep putting it off because you keep looking at the clouds. Don't keep setting it to the side and thinking, I'll do it later when life is more favorable. It's never going to be. Life is never going to give you that permission slip. God is big about rest. I want to encourage you to be intentional about rest. There's always going to be work to do around the house. There's always going to be things that need to get done. But your rest is important. Your spiritual health. There's always going to be stuff on Sunday mornings that's, well, I would go to church, but man, we got this going on. There's always going to be stuff. I would sit down and start a devotional. I would sit down and read the Bible, but man, we just got so much going on. Well, let me get this stuff done. And I don't know how many people have, over the years being a pastor, have told me, I'm going to get a few things lined out, preacher, and then I'm going to be there. And they never show up because they just never get things lined out, because stuff, it just continually stacks up against you. So the only way that we win in this thing is to be intentional, to look at it and say, look, the only way that this gets done is if I just step up and do it. And when it's all said and done, we look back and we're thankful that we did. And it's by God's grace that we're able to accomplish this stuff. And it's so awesome that he calls us to rest and restoration and healing and encouragement. And that's a blessing that we have a Father like that. So guys, go read Ecclesiastes 11, highlight verse 4 in your Bible. And hopefully it will motivate you and remind you and encourage you the way that it has me. Thank y'all for watching this devotional. We really appreciate it. Give it a like, a subscribe, comment below, questions below, anything you got. And other than that, man, we'll see you guys next week.